right now I'm in my tank build. My stats aren't right, but as a tank, the Frigidon set is one of the best sets that you can have. It comes with Enchanted Ward and Elemental Aversion, which is really, really good. Most of the attacks that are done to you are light and heavy attacks. There are occasional elemental attacks and ability attacks which are physical, but for the most part you're going to be getting hit by either light and heavy attacks or elemental attacks, so that just gives you a good baseline to cover it. The stopwatch is amazing for holding aggro. I recommend that all tanks run the stopwatch. It's just really good. You can just heavy attack and it will taunt, which I'm pretty sure heavy attacking without the stopwatch will still taunt, but it just applies more threat. Having a hated or despised earring with nimble on it is really good. Bonus for having healing heart rune to provide a little bit more health for you. And then running stone form is what I find is most helpful for tank. Usually I'll lead in with a heavy attack to a taunt and then swap to my secondary, taunt again, and then you can swap back to sword and shield and do your 3 light attacks, provide some rend. Being stone form while you do your light attacks is really beneficial. Having a sword with trenchant rend and refreshing and despised on it would be the ultimate sword to go for. So trenchant rend, despised, and refreshing move, that's going to give you cooldowns when you light and heavy attack. Trenchant rend obviously just applying more rend. And then I have really enjoyed running the power stone for tanking. If your health is above 90%, attacks cause a 20% weaken for 5 seconds. That's a 5-second cooldown. So you can pretty much have 20% weaken at all times on targets if you know how to play with it right. But let's go into the skill tree for tank really quick and what I'm running. So as tanks, it's 100% recommended that you go leadership. I do not run any dungeons with defensive formation, and this is because it's just better. While blocking reduced damage to all allies within 4 meters by 30%. Yes, it's good, but it's not as good as leadership, which empowers your group members by 10% when you have the sword and shield out. And the reason is because you have your ranged DPS and your healer, which most of the time aren't going to be within 4 meters of you. And so having the leadership just gives a baseline 10% to everyone and make sure everyone can hit in power cap, which it's better to burn mobs down faster than try to live through their attacks. So this is kind of what I run. Whirling Blade, it's good because it applies a 16% weaken. So if you hit them with the Whirling Blade and then swap to your flail, you have 36% weaken on the target, which is really good. And then I do Leaping Strike. You could swap Leaping Strike out with Shield Rush, and I'll show you that build tree, but I really like running Leaping Strike just because it gives you some movement. You can jump out of the pile, snag a mob, and then turn around and have the pile back. So this is the other tree I would run if you're not going to run Leaping Strike. This is really good because you're applying another 20% weaken and the Shield Rush stuns. If you have Fortifying Shield Rush as a perk on your shield, this is honestly a really good way to run things as a tank. You're still giving your leadership to your group members. You're getting fortifies from your from your defender's resolve, as well as some heals. So you slap your shield, get your aggro pulled in, you watch your fortify stacks, and then you shield rush once your fortify goes down. And then once the shield rush is up, you swap to your flail. Not having this perk and having this perk instead is debatable on whether or not you want to run it. If you trust your DPS not to just be getting absolutely destroyed, then yes, this is better. You'll be taking 50% of their damage, and you apply just a ton of fortifies with the barrage, and other things. So this is honestly a really good tanking flail build. And then let's talk about shields. Having enchanted ward on your shield is huge. If we go over to the weaponsmith station, I'll show you what would be the absolute best shield, in my opinion, if you're running shield rush. We got the Artisan's Tower Shield, which has shield defense, fortifying shield rush, sturdy, and enchanted, which if you're running shield rush, this is just a good overall base shield that would be really good. I recommend getting that just as a general shield for all mutations. But what is going to be most valuable, if we go here, is having a shield for every single element. So having a frozen ward shield, having a slash shield. Luck shield isn't that important, but having one for each damage type with enchanted on it would be that would be the goal, is enchanted ward and just an elemental protection like ice. Obviously this one isn't super great, but having like frozen shield ward, enchanted shield defense, and sturdy energy would be the best. I already have sturdy energy on my chest piece, so it's kind of a mundane perk to also have on there, but just enchanted ward plus your frozen protection will give you a lot of elemental resistance. Okay, so over here is the rune glass station in Brimstone. So we have all these different rune glasses. Then I would go down to for the armor, at least you want opals. It'll give you more elemental protection. And for the gear, I would do siphoning elemental, not that one, it is the leeching. Okay, I would do the leeching, so you're getting some lifesteal as well as your elemental damage absorption. Another good one is the energizing. So it's really a toss-up on whether how you play and whatnot, but I would suggest doing the leeching over the energizing, just because it has a 3-second cooldown and getting +5 and then 8, so you'd be getting 8 extra stamina every 3 minutes. You shouldn't be needing that as a tank. You should be having good enough stamina management that you're never running out of it. But if you find you're running out of stamina, that's good to put in. But I would really recommend doing the leeching elemental ward for your armor, and then for your weapons you're going to want the energizing carnelians, which generate 300% more threat plus 4 stamina on hit, which is really good for your weapons. And then let's get into rings. So this is just a ring I got from the Hive of Gorgon raids, which I just use kind of for everything. It's honestly not my end game ring or the perks I want at all. The perks that you want to have on your ring is Hardy. Let's see if we can find a good tank ring on the market. Hardy is like one of the best perks you can have a tank as a tank. And it's kind of the only ring that I really worry about, so that's not really that great. That's not really that great for tank. So like a Hardy leeching would be pretty good. Give you some life still. Purifying Hearts is also really good. The main one you want to look for is Hardy. So I guess the best in the slot would technically be like a Hardy, leeching, and I guess enfeebling would be really good as well. So you could either go for Hardy leeching refreshing, Hardy leeching enfeebling, to make those weekends apply longer. That's pretty much what you're going for. Just make sure you have a Hardy ring. And then the other perks can kind of fill, as long as it's not something useless like Sacred or something like that. So that's pretty much it for tank. And then for attributes, obviously you want 350 con, and then I just dumped the rest into strength. And then we'll do up to 50 to unlock that perk, but pretty much just everything else into strength as well, and would recommend it. Hope that this tank guide helps. I will have more guides for the other classes coming up shortly. If you liked it, throw down a like. Yeah, you know what to do. Peace.